Well, greetings, Doomers and other Indiana Jones fans. I'm out here exploring the Mojave Desert of California, and I thought it's nice and hot outside. It's approaching 100 degrees. Perfect time to throw on all the Indiana Jones gear and talk about something that I have no right talking about, and that's bullwhips. Now, whether you want to take up whipping as a hobby, or you're like me and you're just an Indiana Jones cosplayer that, you know, the whip is part of the gear, at some point you're gonna wanna learn how to crack this thing. And there are a lot of videos out there that can show you how to do this. When I first got my Todd's Costumes bullwhip and I wanted to learn how to crack it, I found Adam Winrich's channel. Adam Winrich, of course, is a renowned bullwhip expert, does some of the coolest stuff that you will ever see with a whip. I suggest that you leave this video right now, go subscribe to him, and learn how to whip. So go ahead, go on. You're still here? Okay, fine. This is kind of like bullwhipping for dummies. I am a dummy. I'm gonna show you the only crack that I know how to do, and that is the basic cattleman's crack. You can learn how to do more advanced techniques from other whip experts out there. Like I said, Adam Winrich's YouTube channel is a great source of learning how to do more complicated things. If you want like an Indiana Jones cosplayer's take on whipping, there's Rusty Bullwhips, that's another good one. A lot of other of the indie channels out there cover whipping, and those people are much, much better than me. Kirk Brockman is another one that I would suggest checking out. But if you're here and you're sticking with me, then you're gonna have to suffer through my lackluster bullwhip. Talking about the whip for a second, it is Indiana Jones's signature weapon. It's kind of like when you think of Indy, you think of hat, jacket, bullwhip. As the movies kind of progressed, the bullwhip took on less and less prominence. I think the writers kind of ran out of creative things for him to do with it. It's not really a practical weapon. You can't really use it indoors because you need space around you. I mean, honestly, if somebody was coming at me with a bullwhip in real life, this is how I would handle it. So I have two whips. I started out with this one. This is the Todd's Costumes whip. It is made out of leather. I wouldn't call it professional level. It's definitely costume level. It is a 10-footer. I've had it for a long time, so it's got a lot of flexibility in it. My other bullwhip is right here. This is my Trinity. This is an actual bullwhip made by somebody that is a skilled whip artist and is made for more professional uses of the bullwhip. This is an 8-footer. Now, I would suggest if you're just starting out, you want to go with a shorter whip, because the shorter the whip is, the easier it will be for you to crack it. In the movies, Indy's whips varied from 8 feet to 10 feet to even longer. Really depended on the scene and what it was being used for. When it was hanging from his belt, I think most of the time it was a 10-foot because it just looks a little more impressive coiled up at 10 feet. For some of the cracking scenes, I think a lot of times an 8-footer was used. I think when they were using it as a rope, sometimes it wasn't even a real whip. It would have a steel cable in it that was wrapped with leather to make it look like a whip, because you really should not use it as a swing for real life. It can be done, and I know people have done it, but it'll eventually, ruin the whip, and it's just not very safe. Another thing to keep in mind when you're first learning how to crack a bullwhip is you're going to hurt yourself. Dressing up in full gear is a really good idea. The leather jacket, the long pants, even the fedora will help protect your body. You don't want to snag your ear or whip your legs if you're wearing shorts. I've done all this stuff and it hurts. Let's head out here into the yard where there's some more space, and I'll just show you the basic cattleman crack with both of these. Now when you're ready to crack your whip, here's the handle. You want to hold it by the heel knot to get really good grip on the thing. It's a little bit better than holding it here. It gives you a bit more control, and you get to use more of the length of the whole whip. There's also this loop here that you can wrap around your wrist, you know, just to make it a little more secure in your hand. Though this thing is usually for hanging it up. Your handle extends up here to the transition knot. And then we have the body of the whip itself. Now, over time, when you've been cracking the whip for a while, you are gonna wear out the fall, which is this portion of your whip here. And it's tied to the main body of the whip here. The fall, and then at the very end, the cracker. Indy's cracker should be black. All I had extra was white, so, and this one looks like it's really fraying here at the end, and I've picked up some cactus stickers. The crackers you'll probably be replacing the most. The fall you'll be replacing not as much, but you will have to. It'll shred and it'll come apart at some point. And then for the body of the whip, take care of this just like you take care of any leather. You got Picards and other leather conditioners to keep this thing supple. Okay, so first, the basic Cattleman crack. Now, the first thing you'll notice is that I am left-handed, so I will be using it from this side. I know most of you are right-handed. Sorry, flip the image around. I've tried it with my right hand, and all I ever do is end up hitting myself. So what you want to do with the Cattleman crack is just kind of loosely lay the thing out in front of you, straight against the ground. And then you're going to want to curl it back, and it's kind of like a feel thing. You'll feel the weight of the whip transfer from the front of you to the back of you. Once it's gone all the way over past this center line on you, then you want to bring it forward. If you do it too soon or too late, you'll probably hit yourself. And it's just a matter of practice and feel. Make sure you wear clothes that cover your body, and make sure you wear a hat so you don't take one of your ears off. So here we go. So got some pretty nice loud cracks there. It's really all in the wrist. It's like throwing a ball. You don't really want to engage your entire arm, just mostly your wrist and, you know, down to your elbow as needed. And try to crack your whip so that the crack is happening like in midair rather than when it hits the ground. You don't want to beat your whip against the ground too hard because eventually it'll start coming apart. If you want to practice, you should practice on something with soft ground like grass. This is sand. On the concrete or sidewalks, not a great idea because you will damage your whip. And you want to make sure that your arm is moving in a straight line. That'll reduce the chances of you accidentally hitting yourself. And definitely make sure you have space around you. This is the 8-foot whip, so you want to make sure nobody is in your circle. Let's try right-handed. Felt like I was losing control a little bit, but got it to crack. So there are two schools of thought on cracking the whip. I've heard some people say it's better to go with the grain of the whip, with the curl, the natural curl, and I've heard some people say it's better to go against. I don't know what the right answer is because I'm a dummy. So we'll do it both ways and see if there's any real difference. We got this way where it's rolling out. Now we'll try it this way, see if there's any big difference. Ow, that crack was so loud my ears are ringing. So, we went this way, we went this way. We got it cracked both ways. I don't know, like I said, the jury's out on that one. I've heard two different opinions. Because of the issue with the weight of the whip and the length and getting it to clear your head in a nice arc, an 8-foot whip is easier to crack than a 10-footer. The more length and weight you have, the more difficult it is. So we've done the 8-foot. Now we're gonna try the 10-foot Todd's Costumes whip. I know it's a costume whip and it's not as sturdy as this one, but we could still get some cracks out of it. And with the Todd's whip, same thing. You wanna hold it by the heel knot. This one's a little looser and not quite as full-bodied as my Trinity Bullwhip, but you can still get some cracks out of this. With a longer whip, you're gonna run into more trouble getting it to crack accurately without hurting yourself. It really comes down to the timing and the feel of the weight going past your center line and knowing when to bring it forward. If you crack too fast, cracks in midair. But it's not coming all the way out, and it sounds like it's actually cracking behind me, which sounds like a good way to hit yourself. If you wait too late, you're probably going to hit yourself in the leg or in the back, which sucks. And if you don't keep your arm straight, you will definitely hit yourself. So that's it. That's the basic Cattleman crack. It's the only crack I really know how to do. If you want to learn more advanced cracking, I suggest checking out Adam Winrich or Rusty Bullwhip or many of the other great bullwhip artists you can find on YouTube. But here's the one cool thing about bullwhipping for dummies like me. If you can do any crack at all, you will impress people that know nothing about whipping. If you're not around a bunch of seasoned whippers and indie cosplayers, you're at an event and make sure there's plenty of space around you and you crack the whip, people will go, ooh, ah. They won't know any better. I do it all the time. So that's all for bullwhipping for dummies. If that wasn't edifying, I hope it was at least hilarious. If you are in the Southern California area, we have many groups here where you can get together and with like-minded people, sometimes indie cosplayers, and practice bullwhipping and get to use different whips and maybe learn some new techniques. The Cali Crusaders is a group that is dedicated to both indie cosplay and bullwhipping. Also, we have the LA Whip Artists that meet in Burbank once a month, and they are a general whip group, but the indie cosplayers show up. Fortunately for me, the park where they get together is walking distance from my house, so I try to show up there at least a couple times a year. And if you show up for one of these, I hope to meet you there. So for now, I'd like to wish you all much fortune and glory.